What type of a mic check was that?
A real quick one. Nothing changes. Our environment doesn't change. The setup doesn't change.
But I gotta yell at your intro. Like I gotta.
You ruined my intro is what you did. Hello, welcome to Day One Patch Podcast, episode 238.
That was really weird. You looked at me and I thought something special was gonna happen, and I was like, 238.
No. Adriano's not here.
I ran him over accidentally on the way here.
Wow.
Yeah.
While playing the Bird Box Challenge.
That'd be great, actually.
Stay safe, kids.
Don't be doing no bird box challenges. Christ, what are people doing?
I don't know. Coming up in this week's show, we have some Sea of Thieves updates, which we actually played for the first time a couple weeks ago. Rocket League is entering the PlayStation crossplay beta. Epic Game Store is matching Steam with a new refund policy. And EA cancels the open world Star Wars game. A sad day for Star Wars gamers around the world. We all cried together. You're not Adriano. Matt, what's new? What are you doing?
Just something new this week too, I think. What the heck was I doing? I was playing a little bit of earlier this week. I was playing a little bit of Emperor. There was a big update. That's like a No Man's Sky with features on the PC, as I call it. It's like an indie title. But yeah, so
I did one of those too. I did one of those too.
Emperor what?
No, Starlink.
Oh, is it
No Man's Sky with features?
With features. Okay. So I was doing just a little bit of Emperor, and then what the heck else was I doing that day? I forget now. I was just on my PC for a bit. But I've been doing a lot of Red Dead, actually. So Red Dead's kind of been my jam. Still been keeping up with Steep too. Marty and I are doing
doing the Steep.
A couple nights of Steep,
wow.
until 5 a.m. One time till 5:30 a.m. So that's rough to get up after that too. But anyway, so been doing a lot of the Red Dead, but like I don't really play it like I should, I guess. So like the traditional way to play it is sort of like you wander around. You do any side stuff that interests you or the stuff that you run into because stuff just kind of pops up in your path, and then you do the main quest. All I've been doing is just running around. And so I think I mentioned to you guys already that crazy cabin experience I had with the old lady. Mm-hmm. Ever since then, I've been like, wow, this game's so detailed in like the side stuff that I'm going to just kind of walk around and just like do stuff. So I've been walking around, I've been interacting with people a lot, and I've been like selling people things and whatever. And I found like that woman that stands in, that woman that only comes out at night in Emerald Ranch. So if you stand around near, I heard a rumor from a guy or from a woman that I had picked up. It was like one of those random encounters. Mm-hmm. So her horse had fallen on her, whatever. I picked her up, drove her home, and on the way, she told me about this woman that at night will sometimes stand outside or stand inside and look outside from the window. So she'll like be standing in the window of one of the Emerald Ranches, like the main house there. And it's just like a side thing as far as I know. It's not a story thing. I just like went there. And I remember like going to Emerald Ranch a few times and looking in the window, not seeing anything. And then I saw like a YouTuber's thumbnail where she was there, but it kind of looked photoshopped. So I wasn't really sure. So I was like, I'm just going to go there and see for myself. So I camped until evening and then just went there and kind of stood around for maybe 10 or 15 minutes. And I had a bit of an altercation there because somebody told me off and I shot him. But anyway, moving on from that. So the lights in the house will kind of go on the bottom floor, like when the evening kind of hits. And then I guess she'll be like going to bed or whatever. She'll go upstairs and you'll see the light come on there's two lights. So there's what I assume is like a bedroom on the left. So if you're facing the house, on the upstairs left, there's like a window. And then there's like those like big, like, I want to call them like gallery windows. It's kind of like a half of a hexagon shape. Where it has like a window, like three windows. So she stands in, I think she stands in a couple of different spots. Maybe it's just one, I can't remember. But she'll just come to the window randomly at night and just kind of like look down. And so like I assume there's a way to get in there. And there just so happens to be like a delivery box that's very precariously placed right in front of the front door. And you can't get in there. Like it just so happens you can't even just try the door. Like they could have just locked the door, but there's something in the way. So I kind of feel like there's something you can do there. Maybe it's part of the game later. I don't really know. So I found that. And then I was walking around near Rhodes, I believe. And I found this cabin. And there was this woman that was shot, or I assume shot. She was all bloody. She was dead. by this wagon, and I kind of like followed like a trail of blood, and I found a letter on the original woman, and she was like the mistress of these people, of these two, of this other couple, and the guy had told her in this letter to like kind of stay away, and she, I guess, didn't, and it appears that she went in and actually killed them because they're dead inside as well. So the couple is dead, she's dead. I looted the place and left. And then I loot everyone. Like it's everything's for money. And then I found this. I had to load. I had this crazy incident where I was in the woods. It was near the bayou, but it wasn't quite in there. So it's still kind of like deep woods. And two guys dressed in Civil War uniforms. I think they were Union uniforms, just like the blue ones.
Yep.
They were yelling about something. And I could hear all this yelling and all this racket. And I walk over there. And a shotgun shell goes off, and they had executed someone. But I was kind of like, I was pretty decent distance, but I guess I got hit by the rest of the spray, I guess. And so my horse went down, I went down, and I was like, what the hell? And then those guys went, oh, the hell with it. And they just got in their wagon, they took off. And there was like a dead guy there and some like debris and stuff. And I don't even know what happened. I just loaded. And then I was experimenting with, so and this is like a slight spoiler, it's a home robbery one. So this is like a scripted piece. So there's a home robbery down south. It's not really scripted. It's just something that goes into your log. So I don't know if people consider those spoilers, which is why I say it. But it was way down south of Rhodes. I can't remember the place. But this is where I experienced my first glitch. So I went in there, and I was going to like rob the place. And so the thing with home robberies when you get intel is that usually there's someone in there, generally, and sometimes, and they're all random, but like sometimes if you keep the people alive in there, they'll tell you where like the money is hidden. There's usually like a stash of money somewhere. And I walked in this room, and this guy said, "Not again, you son of a bitch! I'm going to kill you." And he started stabbing me, so I shot him. So at that point, I was like, that kind of felt weird. Like it kind of sounded like I'd been there before, but I hadn't even been to that part of the map. Like I was just discovered that part of the map. So I was like, I'm going to mess around with loading because I was curious as to how time worked in the game. So I loaded a few times. And what I found out was if I walked near the cabin but didn't actually start the event, leave, and what I was doing was I was kind of walking near the cabin, scouting it out, going out into the woods, camping, and it's like sleeping till night because that's when I like to do the home robbery is at night. It was kicking off the event, but what it was doing, and this is kind of the spoiler part, so there's a guy and his son, and then the father seems like an alcoholic and like an abusive father, whatever. I guess the standard quick ending is that you shoot him and you leave the kid alone. And that was the scenario they were putting me in without me actually having been there and done that. So what I did was I loaded one last time. I think it was maybe the third time. Was something wrong with there? Okay, so something.
I just want to make sure it was still rolling.
Oh, so I loaded again, and I just went straight in. Like it was middle of the day, I just went straight in, and the father was there, and I tied him up. And then I like left him. And then I was experimenting because it was like the kid was scared and he was on like the ground. So he like got scared of me. He told me where the stash was. The father was tied up. And I was like, I'm curious if I leave the room, go walking around, whether the kid will actually leave or whether he's like in a scripted, like petrified state. He actually did take off and I don't know where he went. So just out of curiosity, because I was experimenting, I looked it up online. And some people said like you could like tie them both up. You can actually tie them both up. One guy said that he found these letters. So apparently like, the mother had left them, and the mother was sending letters to the son to tell him to like join her, and the father was hiding them. So apparently you can get letters, like you can find the letters and actually show them to the son, and the son will like get all upset and be like, why would you show me this kind of thing? Like it's like a bad thing. Which I was going to do, but he ended up taking off because I was experimenting. So there's that whole scenario. You can also like do the killing one. You can kill both. And then apparently there's like a follow-up with them as well. There's like another part that comes up with them. So I'm interested in doing that. So there's like a lot, like what I'm finding is that I don't, like, I mean, I do them, but I don't really care about the missions. Mm-hmm. I just kind of like walk around now. I found the first serial killer clue, the guy all strung up in the tree. That was fucking gross.
Were you like this in GTA?
No, so that was the one thing I was telling Marty was because Marty was telling me that there was a bunch of stuff to discover in Red Dead, and for the majority of the first, I guess it'd be chapter 2, but the first sort of free roam chapter, right when you're off the mountain, in Valentine, that sort of area. When I was in that area, I just kind of did missions. Like I would explore and stuff, but I was mostly like if I was doing anything, I was kind of like just doing stuff to like get money. Like I'd be robbing people on the roads. I'd be messing around, but I wouldn't be really exploring.
Yeah.
And then, because Marty was like, "Oh, there's so much in the game," but I kind of thought when he said that I was under the impression that it was more of a there's so much detail because him and I were at one point discussing that like even the bird species are like actually accurate to season and stuff. Like the ecosystem is rather accurate and stuff. So I was kind of under the assumption that people were like getting really into it and like looking at that. I don't like that's cool and everything. Like that's cool to hear about and all that. That's fine. But like I wouldn't go and like bird watch in the game to like check.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's like, oh, that's cool, but like I'm not going to do that. So I never really did. And in GTA, I never did any of that type of stuff. I never explored or anything really. But this game, that's all I do. I treat it like an RPG. And I think I understand why Jeff Keighley and you know that first like interview or I don't know if it was actually the first, but it was like one of the early interviews with Jeff Keighley and Rockstar, and like Jeff Keighley was saying that he like for the first time a developer asked like what do you want to do and that type of thing.
Well, it was like a press thing where the press got to play like 2 hours or so of Red Dead before it launched.
Right.
And yeah, they sat him down and said, "What do you want to do?" And he said for the first time in his long career of covering video games, the first time a developer asked him what he wanted to do instead of them saying, "Okay, we're going to go on this mission. You're going to go save this princess or whatever," you know. And they basically tell you what your mission is or what your objective is supposed to be.
Yeah.
And this one, they just sat him down and let him explore the world.
Well, so like I kind of was not on his side before. I was not on his side before, and then until I did this like home robbery thing with the old woman, like I mentioned, which was north of Strawberry. So like until I hit that part, I really wasn't doing any of this. I wasn't experimenting with saves. I wasn't experimenting with stuff. But what I feel like this game is that, especially since and this is like a weird detail that I'm like adding a lot of value to, but especially since the act or the character, like especially since Arthur is marking things on the map in his own writing, it feels like he's writing his own story through the game, and so like. I found those giant bones that I mentioned last week, and like you guys hadn't found that, but like I went back to that area in the, I can't remember if it was for the story or it was for something, probably to collect a debt or something. But I was back in that area, and I was like, oh, this is that area. Like I kind of knew that area because of it, and I remembered it, and it's like I kind of know this map more like because of it. Like it's the first kind of time in a GTA or anything where. I don't like. I used to never memorize a map. Use a GPS. I don't care. But like this is like I'm actually just because I'm experiencing so much in the game. I'm kind of like knowing where I am. I'm like, oh, that's these falls. Like I know I got to turn left up here to avoid it. Like I remember the stuff, and I think that's kind of like I'm kind of on Jeff Keighley's side now, where it's like and he was more, I guess, impressed because he didn't get to play for hours and hours like I've been playing. But he was more impressed by like the question, I think, and like you know, obviously playing the game as well because it's a well put together game, but. I'm kind of getting his impression now, like hours in, where yes, you can like load back and get repeat events, and yes, you can find multiple people that have snake bites and need help and that type of thing. But those are like real things. Like those specific things are real things that maybe not as frequently as a game would, but those are real things that would happen to people back then, to multiple people. Whereas like there's some crazy shit. Like I found some guy that had like he was riding kind of weird, and it wasn't like a scripted thing. It didn't, you know how like if there's like something going on, it'll kind of do like a real light, like white dot ping on the map.
Yeah.
It wasn't even anything like that. This guy was riding strangely, like it just didn't look right. And it looks like his animation was bugged out or something. And I went up to him, I like did the greet. And I was like, "Are you okay, mister?" And he just dropped dead off his horse. And he had a fucking massive, like, it was like either an arrow or like a bullet wound in the back of his neck or his head. And I was like, holy fuck, like this is crazy. And like when I had looted him, I found like a whole bunch of stuff on him. And then the game is like super dynamic in that way. There are repeat things, like I said, the snake bites, and there's like repeatedly like there's always like guys at camps. But like that would happen like back then. Not everyone had a house. So that game's a 10 out of 10. That game's a 10 out of 10 for me.
Wow.
Because there's nothing. Bethesda games are like, yeah, I'm going to explore, but I'm trying to like figure out what mechanics I can do. This game is like, yes, they're mechanics, and yes, there's like multiple things, but there are some fucking crazy details that are put in this game.
It's absurd.
It's really crazy actually.
Yeah.
I don't buy ammo. Why would I buy ammo?
I don't buy ammo either. I never bought ammo.
Like
I did buy ammo for my shotgun because I was using that quite a bit. But other than that, it's like I would usually just find ammo for my main guns.
I just kill people and loot it. What the hell? Actually, I do have one question. Actually, before we move on, is so there's the requests from the people. You know, like one person wants a harmonica, one person wants a pocket watch, one person wants whatever. Okay, so this might be a slight spoiler. I don't really know. It's like the companion. You know what I'm trying to say? I don't really know what you call it. So it's like the guy's like, man, it'd be really nice if I had a pocket watch or whatever. So I think it's Lenny wants a pocket watch. And I was in a general store and I was actually looking for the book because Jack wants a book of some sort. So I was looking for that book. I thought maybe I could buy it. And I saw a pocket watch and I forgot that Lenny had asked. And I picked up that pocket watch. Like I bought it. It was like $200 or something, which is nothing to me. I'll just go rob people on the way to Lenny. And I was like driving. I was driving through Strawberry because I wasn't going straight to Lenny. I was in Valentine, bought it, and then I went to Strawberry, and I was kind of like poking around. And I remember some guy had told me a rumor about the mayor, so I went to go find where the mayor was, and I was just kind of like poking around. And I went into the general store, and they had a pocket watch as well. But what was weird was I was like, oh, it's a pocket watch. I go look at it. It's in stock, whatever. It's like right there. I can't buy it because it says I can only hold one, and I can actually equip this pocket watch. I went outside the town. I robbed somebody. I then looted him. He had a gold pocket watch. But it's like a step inside of my satchel. There's like the pocket watch that I bought. It says it's unique, and I can't buy another one. I can't have another one. And then there's like this gold pocket watch, which I'd normally fence. And when I got that gold one, it said Lenny. It's like request update, and it says Lenny wanted a pocket watch, and I was like, but I bought one. I kind of figured that would have been, like I figured that would be for him. Mm-hmm. Like I wasn't planning that, but like I was like, wouldn't the one I bought earlier have triggered the same thing, or does he specifically want a gold one, or is it that this one I can only purchase once? Like, what is the situation? Like, are these like my question now, I guess, is are these situations more scripted than I think? Like, is there like one person wants a harmonica and Jack wants that book. Jack wants that book. Is there only one book in the world that will satiate his thing? Like, I can't go to the bookstore of some sort and buy Jack that edition of that book. I have to go and find the book that he left behind.
I don't know.
You didn't do any of that.
I did the pocket watch, and
did you buy it or did you find it?
I didn't even think about it because it wasn't in my main quest or anything. I remember like accepting, like, oh yeah, I'll find one. You know, if I find one, I'll give it to you or whatever. And I was just doing my quests, and I just had a pocket watch on me. Found Lenny again, gave it to him, and that was it. And you didn't? It wasn't the purchased one. I didn't purchase anything because it's weird. I purchased guns and clothing. That's it. Well, like what's really you didn't do, what's really weird? I can't actually buy a lot of the outfits. I didn't play this game. Fuck. Because what's really weird is I'm pretty sure the one in Valentine that I purchased looks different than the one in Strawberry. So I kind of figured like, oh, maybe there's like some weird like pocket watch collection I can get, and that's like an achievement or something. I haven't checked, but I can't buy the one in Strawberry. I was just gonna buy it, and I can't actually buy it because it says no, you already have it. Like you're already full. So I'm like, what the fuck? Like I don't. So I think my next thing of duty, which I'm sure will be 8 hours in because I'll be get freaking lost 4 times, is I'm gonna go back to Lenny, and I'm gonna see if I can give him the unique one. I'm gonna do a save and like check which one. Also, actually, funny enough, I don't know if I mentioned this last week. I think my renown, and I don't actually know. I think my renown is affecting how people like me in the camp. Probably. It's pretty good. I was working on like the ledger. I was like giving money and stuff. It's like behind Dutch's like thing, and Dutch is like it's the back of his tent, so you can really only see in through a crack. But like I can't, like it's not open, and he's like, you know, Arthur, you're really starting to creep me out. And then a couple minutes later, he's like, Arthur, get the hell out of here! And he just like screams it and tells me to get the fuck out. I don't know. Dutch does seem to have bad days sometimes. Oh, really? And where he just doesn't want to be around you. Is it because you've done something stupid? Or you might have just been hanging out there too long. I think trying to pay the camp like he told me. I think if you just creep around someone for too long, they get kind of weirded out. I don't know. Go try it on someone else. See what they do. Well, I mean, I wasn't really hanging out that long. I was like, I had just kind of gotten there. I do know that if you get your renown up, people in the town kind of go like, oh. Like I've had a couple of guys go like, you son of a oh.
Never mind. And they just like walk away. People know you're following them. So you know my motto: no one pulls a gun on Arthur Morgan lives to tell the tale.
Yeah.
So some guy called me a name, it was an idiot or something, and so I did the antagonize, and I was like, "Who let the simpleton out of the insane asylum or whatever?" What a stupid insult. And the guy goes, "You want a fight partner?" and cocks a gun. So I'm like, "Oh, you son of a bitch!" But it was in the middle of Valentine, so I followed him, and he kept like looking, and I was pretty far back actually, and he kept looking. And he gets to an open spot. He slams on the brakes, turns around, pulls a gun, and starts shooting at me.
Jesus Christ!
And I was like, "What the fuck?" So I killed him, and I have a bounty. But you know,
are you paying off your bounties at all, or are you just fighting the law when they come around?
I have to because as you saw when we were playing, and as the people did if they were watching the stream, every time I'd go to a mission, be like, "What's that shooting?" And then like 5 friggin' bounty hunters come like running over the ridge trying to like end me.
It ruins your day.
It ruins every single time. It's like, man, I found this cool watch. What the hell's going on? Like,
you were going up against those Driscolls, and then a bunch of bounty hunters came running out. Jeez.
Every time. Pretty great. I still have the same shitty horse. I tried a new horse and it was way faster, but that's Arthur Morgan's horse. I got the real shitty horse.
It's not Arthur Morgan's horse.
And I ride everywhere too. So now my game experience is like elongated by like twice.
Go find the best horse in the game, and then that'll be Arthur Morgan's horse.
Seabiscuit is Arthur Morgan's horse.
I went through three or four horses in that game.
I thought isn't there an achievement for keeping the horse or something?
It wasn't the first game, wasn't there?
I can't remember.
I think that was the first game.
I think I got that because I forgot I could tame horses. I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah. But there is a reason at the end of the game to have your horse fully like you, which isn't that difficult to get.
No, it doesn't take that long.
But if you just like happen to get a new horse right before the end, it could change some things. But
I don't think I'm going to beat this game.
May Boots rest in peace. That's all I got.
That's real sad.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to beat this game, but I'm totally fine with that.
No, like, you should beat it so me and Marty can talk to you about it.
But the thing is like you guys kind of rushed it, and now you're like regretting going back. I was telling you guys in the group chat and stuff. I was like, man, did you guys see this? And he's like, no. And I messaged Marty, and I was like, did you see that like widow or the mistress kill those people?
The world is so big. Like even Marty did more exploring than I did, right? And he hasn't seen what you've seen. I think it's just there's so many different things that you can come across.
That's very true, actually.
I don't necessarily regret my playthrough because I was going to play the game like that regardless.
Yeah, you want the check mark, right?
There's no world in which I would have played it like you're playing it. That's just not how I play games, right? So,
fuck, I spent most of my time on Far Cry 5 on foot.
Yeah.
Yeah, like where's your truck? I don't know. I'm in the woods.
I played Starlink Battle for Atlas.
How was that?
It's good. It's good. Yeah.
I haven't opened mine yet.
It's a pretty cool kind of. It's definitely for kids. It's definitely geared at kids.
Is it is it enjoyable enough for you as an adult? Like, is there enough adult?
Yeah,
I was gonna say adult entertainment, but
I'll have to put a few more. I'll have to put a few more hours into it. But no, I like it. There's definitely potential there. It's kind of hard to describe what you're doing in the game, but you can. It's like No Man's Sky. You can travel between planets. You can take off from the ground, go into space, hyper space into the next planet, right? All sorts of stuff. You have different weapons you can shoot and whatnot. And you just kind of like land on a planet, do some missions and stuff. And there's a campaign, so you just run through those missions and stuff. There's side quests, so it's cool. And I also have the toy with it as well, which goes onto the controller.
How have you been playing it with or without toy?
With the toy.
With the toy.
I thought I bought the physical copy for the toy.
Right.
Might as well try it.
How's that?
It's super convenient. You just pop something off, pop a new one on. It's not that big of a hassle.
We were questioning, like, you don't plug that thing into the controller, though. It clips onto the controller.
You plug it into the console.
Interesting.
And it had a firmware update.
God damn it.
Which I was surprised to see.
It's so weird having, like, my Joy-Cons updated.
Oh, yeah.
And my controller on my Xbox One updated, and then, like, I had to go and restart the console because, like, it wouldn't...
Well, the Joy-Cons were having an issue, weren't they? Remember when the Switch launched, like, people were having some sort of issue with it?
It's just bad Bluetooth.
Yeah.
I don't think there's really any.
But they released an update to fix it or
Like
mend it as best they could.
Enhanced it probably as far as the hardware could go.
They may have changed the manufacturing process now. I'm not sure, but
it's probably the same standard as the PlayStation 4. Where
Marty was having Bluetooth issues.
Yeah,
his green controller kept disconnecting.
If you cover it a certain way, you're covering the antenna.
Yeah,
it's the same. It's the same shit with my
antenna gate all over again.
Well, it's like my PlayStation as well. I have terrible Bluetooth connection.
Yeah,
it's just one of those things. It's just not good.
Yeah, sucks.
What? Do you not have any problem with yours?
No, never.
I was actually gonna ask about your Switch. We don't have one, so damn it.
But it's also a clear line of sight from my console to my, and it's only like 6 feet maybe.
But mine's like 8 feet to be fair, and it still is friggin' clear line of sight.
I wouldn't say yours is 8 feet. Yours is about the same, I think. It's just on the angle. I guess the angle maybe adds a couple feet. But
I was curious as to whether I was told that the antenna is actually in the back left.
Mine's a Pro though, so I'm not sure if they changed anything.
Well, there's that, and I wonder it's because my console's up. It's like diagonally.
You think the antenna is like going outwards, upwards?
Well, I was thinking maybe the shelf. It has to go through the shelf, and it can't quite do it.
Which is weird because like good Bluetooth receivers are pretty good.
And I know it's that too because the Bluetooth range is much worse when I have it on Wi-Fi. So I know it's like the same wireless chip or same wireless antenna.
What's funny though is if you buy like good Bluetooth products, I can be 2 floors up and it's perfectly fine. The
thing is I think Bluetooth is the easiest to mess up because I have Seabirds, Jaybirds. I have Jaybirds and I have a couple of Seabirds in my ear. I mean, I guess a Jaybird is much better. But like I have Jaybirds with like earbuds and like. Sometimes if my phone's in my pocket, they can't.
Really?
And I don't think it's the Jaybird. I think it's the phone. So it's the easiest thing because I've had times where like I've connected my Jaybirds to other things and I've like walked out of the room and been like, oh shit, I forgot this is.
Well, hopefully, what is it? Bluetooth 5 on? Bluetooth 5?
My phone is Bluetooth 5.
But your Jaybirds probably aren't.
That's a good question, actually.
So maybe Bluetooth 5 will be better.
Hopefully.
Yeah. And I've been playing a lot of Overwatch, which I shouldn't be because I have other games I need to be playing.
Yeah, why are you playing Overwatch by yourself? Like, what's going on here?
I've just been on an Overwatch kick. I don't know what happened. It's just I like playing it.
So Odyssey's done. You're not beating Odyssey.
I need to restart it.
I think what?
I need this happens to me before.
Do you know what I think you need to do?
Wait.
Uninstall it.
Hang on, no. This has happened to me on several games before. If I get interrupted, I can't go back. I have to restart. So it happened with Far Cry, like Far Cry 2. Happened with the original Watch Dogs.
Yeah.
Where something else came out, and I couldn't go back, and I had to restart. And once I restart, I will play it through to the end. But the difficulty is now, if I restart it now, Far Cry will come out. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Then The Division will come out.
And then?
I'll be interrupted again.
And then Days Gone.
And then Days Gone.
If you're doing that.
I am, yeah. So it might have to be pushed off until after that.
I think you need to...
I need the summer lump to complete...
Is there even a summer lump anymore?
Yeah, there was one last year. It was pretty rough.
I mean, admittedly, I don't really know what is coming out in the summer.
I don't think much. We can pull up a list, though.
I bet you that's gonna be update season. I bet you that's what they're gonna try to do. These big boys.
What do you mean? Like consoles?
the big what do you call them?
Publishers?
What are the games that are live games? The big live game folk like EA and Bethesda now and that whole kick. I bet you they probably identify
have some event or something.
that there's a lump and they'll probably do a big update. I bet you during that time.
All right, let's hop into the stories. Speaking of live games, Sea of Thieves,
which we're playing.
Kind of.
I've played a few times.
But so if you thought Sea of Thieves was a big download at 35 gigabytes,
right,
you're going to be happy about this story.
Right.
So they announced through the official Sea of Thieves website. This comes to us from IGN, by the way. The update will be coming to PC and Xbox One on February 6th. Now, this new version is going to reduce the install size. So for Xbox One and Xbox One S users, the install size of the game will be reduced from 35 gigabytes to 10 gigabytes. That's crazy.
Is that for Xbox One, you said?
Xbox One and Xbox One S.
Holy fuck.
That is insane. For Xbox One X users, it'll go from 47 to 25 gigabytes.
That's such a big.
And then similarly for PC, 47 to 27. How are they finding all this?
Well, I remember reading the article in part. I didn't read I couldn't remember the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I remember being shocked then too, but they were saying that it was a matter of like the base game comes out and then they update and then they update and it updates keep banging out new things. So I guess now in some capacity they've recompiled it or whoever they've done it, and now they have all of the current updates in a more like a smaller size version, and then now they can update again.
The one downside is you have to re-download the entire game in full. So I think what that means is if you have it on Xbox One, you'll have to download the 35 gigabyte game. It will install, and then it will delete all the garbage, and then you'll just have that one 10 gigabyte file left.
I actually don't know about that. I've noticed this twice. Battlefront 2 I installed from EA Access. And so I tried a digital game, and I did Red Dead recently, and I didn't have to update, I don't think, after I booted them up. Like they did the original install, so I'm curious as to whether devs, and I don't know if they have control over that. So like that install file will actually be like pushed. So then like if I bought it on February like 10th, which is after the update, right?
Mm-hmm.
It would just be the 10 gig.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But if you already have it installed,
yeah,
you have to re-download the game entirely.
But it does it automatically via the update.
Yeah, I'm not saying you had to go into the store and download it, but the update will be 35 gigabytes, I guess.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
That's what I'm reading here.
So, okay, what's next? So,
the update requires full download and reinstall.
Yeah, but the update, so it's essentially deleting what's there and then downloading 10 gigs.
Yeah.
Not 35 gigs, though.
Oh, is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
So you download the game as a 10 gigabyte file, and then just replaces it.
I think, the update, I assume, handles the whole thing.
Well, I guess we'll see. Now, my Xbox actually just does it in the background. Its auto-update actually works.
Unless the power goes out.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Which hasn't happened in a long time. Yeah, I know. So anyway, there you go. Sea of Thieves. That's amazing. I love that.
Because what's crazy is like if like assuming it's automatic, which I think it is. I think I read that it was automatic. But like if it's automatic and it wouldn't be ridiculous to say that there's a 10 gig update really in these days, and that's the whole fucking game.
Yeah.
For some.
I think it's funny that when macOS Snow Leopard launched, Apple was like, we managed to save 6 gigabytes. And it was like, yeah! You know?
And now it's like, man, we managed to save fucking 2,000 gigs. Like, Jesus.
All right. Next up, we have Rocket League is joining the PlayStation crossplay beta. So I think right now the only other game was Fortnite. So PlayStation seems to be taking this slow. I'm not sure what Xbox just did it, right? They didn't have some just beta period.
Like, okay, here, flip this.
So
Bill, push A. Woo! That was it.
Microsoft's probably better at networking, I imagine. PlayStation is probably just like figuring this out as they go, you know. So I don't know. But anyway, Rocket League fans, there you go. Now you could already play with PC players on PlayStation.
Yeah, that's right.
So they just added Xbox and Switch to that now as well, and Steam. So there you go. Randomly matchmake with or against each other in all online match types.
There you go.
Yeah. It's a weird thing though to like pick games to do it.
I mean, it's also a weird thing that they couldn't get the name changed to work properly. So
and that sounds broken forever. 34 minutes. Mark that down. I'll edit that out. Anyway, there you go. What game do you want to see next on crossplay? If you could choose,
I think they should just open it up. But if I had to choose, Fallout 76. Because I have some PC buddies and I have a couple Xbox.
Oh yeah.
Not Xbox. No, they backed out when they saw the ratings. But I mean, I got some PC friends that play it, or they used to play. They don't really play right now. But it's. I don't want to get into the Fallout 76 rant again. But
I know, but I don't have any drive to play it.
Fuck.
It seems pointless.
I know. But anyway, Fallout 76 is my answer to that question.
The overseer's probably dead. You probably find her.
She can't be alive. How could she?
That's what I mean. You find her. You search for her all these years. You find her, and she's probably dead with a holotape.
I hate that design decision. Actually, like I've decided I actually like really don't like it at all.
All right. Speaking of Fortnite, Epic Game Store is getting competitive with their new refund policy. They're basically matching what Steam does and what Steam is doing, and now Epic Game Store. You can return a game provided it is within 14 days of purchase and under 2 hours played. You will also now have unlimited refunds through Epic, giving the Game Store the same policy as Steam. That comes to us from GameSpot.
That's not too bad.
That's good. I wish PlayStation and Xbox would have a return policy.
The retailers don't.
The retailer should have it too.
I don't know.
Although it would be harder for the retailers to check how many hours you've played.
I struggle with it a bit because it's not back in the days where it was like, well over, or I guess around 100 in the 80s and 90s, like which was more back then due to inflation, or lack thereof, I guess. But like for like a Nintendo game, and then you bring it home and it's bad, and you're like, or you just don't like it. Whereas today, it's like there's no shortage of like while you're in the freaking store, you could pull up a review, and if you don't like the game, like it's kind of hard to get into something that you don't like when you could be like, I don't know, like even if you watch the review and you're like, I don't know, I'm just gonna go watch like 40 hours of this person playing it on Twitch, and then I'm gonna go watch someone do a let's play, like a pre-recorded one. Like there's so I don't know where I stand on it.
But you shouldn't have to rely on reviews to determine whether you like a product once you have it.
But should you have to rely or should the store have to rely on you liking stuff when they sell to you? Like you are coming in and you are purchasing it.
I understand the not liking something, but when something's broken like Fallout 76 is, that's a different story. You purchased a game that they basically sold to you as a working product, and it didn't work.
But what they did sell you did work. What they technically sold you was disk and data on the disk. What isn't working is like the server infrastructure.
No, but they didn't sell me a disc.
They also didn't sell you the server infrastructure.
Yes, they did.
What do you mean they didn't sell you a disc? The digital stores don't do it either, right? That's right.
But I'm saying they didn't say buy this fancy Blu-ray disc. They said buy Fallout 76. They're talking about the software. They're talking about the infrastructure.
Yeah.
They're talking about the servers. Okay. So if that's broken on day one when I buy a $70, $80 game Canadian,
Yeah.
That's bad.
Can you, but like, okay, let's take it into like another retailer like Walmart. And I don't know what their return policy is, but do you think that they should be able to return, you should be able to return like a coffee maker you don't like?
Again, the liking thing is a little different.
But it's not possible really to discern it. Like,
no, but what I'm saying is,
if something's defective, I think there should be
that's all I'm talking about
policy.
Here. That's all I'm talking about here.
No, but like a swap, like 1 for 1. Like I bought Coffee Maker 1, it didn't work. I get another Coffee Maker 1 unit, like another unit of the same coffee maker, is what I'm saying. Like this,
but you can't swap out a game. It's going to be broken regardless. I mean, software is broken. It's
EB Games will do, at least in my experience, I think it's 30 days. Again, check their policies, but. They will do like if the disc is broken, like if the disc is physically not running.
That's fine, yeah.
That's fine with me. That's good. But like, I don't know. I'm on the fence about that because it's like, and I'm only on the fence about it because you could do your research. Like, why is your research you going to buy it and then like using it, not liking it, and then bringing it back? Like, I don't know. That's just weird to me. Like people do that at Costco. I hear that all the time where they're like, "Oh, like I didn't want to buy a good camera, so what I did was I went on vacation, and before I did, I bought a Costco camera, and then when I came back, I just took the SD card, which was like their SD card anyway, and then I returned the camera saying I didn't like it. It's like, well, fuck me, like that's ridiculous.
But the returns are kind of there though. As a company, you're saying essentially, you're going to like what I am selling you.
Yeah.
And you're saying, I'm guaranteeing you're going to like it. And if you don't like it, you can return it. So it's more of a trust building thing with the company. You know what I'm saying?
I do. I think I'm just caught up on the preference thing.
All I want is a way for consumers to have a bit more control over not receiving bad products.
They do. They go on YouTube, and if people are bitching and crying about a game like Fallout 76, they don't buy it.
Yeah, that's. But again, you shouldn't have to rely on other people to tell you if the product's bad. The company.
I don't know if I agree. I don't know if I agree with that though.
The company is not saying our product is broken. They're saying our product works. We're selling it to you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you should have to rely on.
So you're saying
the reviews are there are for savvy shoppers. Yes.
So but I agree and disagree with that. Like, could you imagine just going and just buying a car, like just some random fucking car, and just being like, okay, like here we go. Don't get it checked out by a mechanic. Don't do anything.
You could
like
say
that's one of the older industries.
You could say it's irresponsible. Yes. But I'm just saying you're taking fault away from the manufacturer or the developer or the publisher.
No, I think they're still at fault, and I think maybe the consequence would be that like you wouldn't buy another Bethesda game, or you wouldn't.
That's another option. Yes.
Or you would be like wary of their next one. Like you'd be like, okay, I'm not just going to give them a free pass. I'm not going to do that pre-order. I get what you're saying with the pre-order. Like maybe a pre-order. I think a pre-order, especially digitally, is fucking stupid. Actually, I think it's a stupid. That's just dumb, in my opinion. Well, it's stupid. Like you're not going to sell out of digital units.
Yeah.
Unless you're selling keys, which some websites do, you're not selling out of freaking actual digital like units on like the PlayStation Store.
Yeah.
So it's like, why are you pre-ordering it? Like, oh, just to get this like theme or something.
The pre-orders are helpful for me if I want to play it on day one, because it does the background install before the game's released.
But they can. Why don't they just like that? That makes sense. So just say now open for preload, and you literally just fucking pay for it.
But it's locked because like you can have locked games. Like Adriano purchased Dead Cells, but I can't play it because my account doesn't have the license for it.
Yeah.
So you could just download the game. It can be locked until you purchase it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why not? Like, what's the problem with that?
Because they want that money.
Because
that doesn't give them money.
Well, because that also makes sense if like let's say I'm coming over and I'm staying here for a couple of days for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And so I want to play 76 while I'm here, and you don't have it. You could download it at any time, have it ready.
Yeah.
I like a return policy to be clear. I like the policy itself to be clear, and I would like there to be a policy. However, I am on the fence as to whether or where the line is. Because the availability of information. Like there's some things that are just straight up complex purchases. Cars, home appliances, those are complex purchases.
This is also where back in the day they had demos. Games had demos, remember? Or
that's a good one too.
Or trials. That I'd be fine with if you had no returns, but you had a demo of your game.
That's good to me.
I'd be happier with that. I'm not happier, but I'd be happy with it.
Yeah, I'd be down with that. That's a good idea. A 2-hour trial where it's actually just the game and it's 2 hours.
Actually, speaking of which, what game just put on trials? I think Tomb Raider had a trial. Shadow of the Tomb Raider had like a trial period. Overwatch goes free to play all the time.
Yeah, like there's free weekends and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, Call of Duty, Black Ops 4 had I think it's a free weekend.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah. So yeah, if they want to do that, sure. All right, let's move on to the saddest news of the week, man.
What's that?
EA has canceled its open world Star Wars game, and this was broken by Kotaku. This is real sad. Now, this game's been through like hell. So first, I had high hopes for it. Right? It was Visceral, the guys behind Dead Space, good studio. They had Amy Hennig from Naughty Dog, who wrote the Uncharted series. Right. Great writer. You know, the pieces seem to be falling in place for this to be an amazing game. And then Visceral got shut down. Amy Hennig left. You know, the game's in limbo a bit. And then they said they were scaling it back, turning it into a live game. Now the word is that that's been canceled. Now this project was codenamed Orca. And the problem with it, I guess, is that it was going to take too long to develop for EA's time frame. EA wants something they can pump out quick because they've only pumped out 3 Star Wars games.
Okay. So now 1 second here. So I don't know if you would know this, but what story or what projects are we at now? We got Battlefront original, Battlefront or not? I shouldn't say original. EA Star Wars Battlefront.
Yes.
EA Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Yeah. And then Galaxy of Heroes, the app, the mobile
Galaxy
app.
of Heroes, the app. So there's 3.
Yeah, and they technically have the Old Republic, their MMO, but they were making that before the whole EA or the whole Disney purchase.
Yeah, so I'm not counting that because we're talking about capitalizing on the Disney deal, right?
Yeah,
So they don't have 2 others in progress though.
they do have 2 others in progress.
They do have 2 others in progress.
Technically 3 games in progress.
And those are, or do we know?
Jedi Fallen something. It was a weird title. Like it doesn't. Jedi Fallen Order.
Okay.
That was the one they announced at last E3.
Okay.
I believe they have another mobile app coming out.
Okay.
And then whatever this scaled down version of Orca is.
See, that doesn't make any sense to me. Is especially if that one already has an announcement and the other one's a mobile app, which is admittedly probably going to be lesser than a full console game.
Mm-hmm.
Right now we're sitting at I think if assuming I counted on my fingers correctly 6. We're at 6 projects total, including ones that are in progress. Why wouldn't you release Orca last and just finish it?
Yeah,
that's strange
because they need profits now.
No, but when you do Fallen Order, like if you already announced a name for that, wouldn't that one be at like I don't know 80% or something complete
Or somewhere.
Whereas
at least.
Orca's at like 40, so you'd be like, okay, let's release this, and then we'll release an app, and then we'll release the big boy.
I think the problem with Orca was that it's been shifted around so much, and it's been changed studios. Like it used to be a Visceral, and then it got moved to EA Vancouver or something like that, right?
Christ,
It's been moved around.
Mm.
And then I think Motive was supposed to be working on it, I think, to some degree, but then Jade Raymond left. So it's just been a whole, tumultuous development cycle that I don't think they can't pump it out fast enough for some reason. And whatever new game they're now making in place of that is slated for late 2020.
So when the hell was that other thing planned to be out?
Who knows?
You know what?
I guess whoever Kotaku was talking to, they hope that maybe EA will come back to it after this 2020 game launches.
Do we know when the Disney deal ends? I assume it's time.
It was 10 years, and I think it was signed in 2013.
Yeah, so they're scared because I bet you if they saw any delay from Orca,
So
if that thing's late 2020, essentially 2021 with a delay. If Orca was going to take 2 more years around, they're scraping up against that deal edge.
Yeah.
And it's possible that they would lose any I don't know how the deal is, to be clear, but it's possible they might lose microtransaction money should it be residual throughout a more than a whatever year period if they don't renew.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Battlefront fell off a lot sooner than they thought. Because first of all, they had the controversy with the microtransactions.
Yeah.
They lost $1 million in their projected sales, and we stopped playing it sooner than we stopped playing the first one. I don't even play it as a Star Wars fan.
I played it last night just because Alex
really?
Alex wanted to play it.
Jeez.
Well, it's EA Access.
Okay, yeah.
And it takes me 2 minutes to download it.
Yeah. So I wonder if that's not pulling in the numbers that they need.
And I have one really quick comment. That fucking Geonosis map. Whoever made that Geonosis
That's
map.
the new one. They just added that one.
I'm telling you right now, I don't mean any personal offense. That map is bad. The game mode is bad. It looks bad, and I'm done with it. That map and that fucking thing in Galactic Assault is a bad map, bad mechanics. That's a bad map.
Wow.
It's a bad map, and a bad mode on that map.
Did you like Geonosis in the original Battlefront?
Yes. This one you can't see. There's too many tanks. The tanks are invincible. Like Alex was in a tank shooting at the enemy ATTE or something. Some big walker thing that the clones had.
The Republic, yeah.
Sure, I don't know the names of the stuff. He was shooting at it. I was watching him. He was shooting at it the entire time. The entire wave. It went down to about a quarter health. There were 3 other ones.
But is it acting like one of the other bigger ships?
You have to ion hit it?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Our stuff was being ion hit or something like it, and then it was being damaged significantly. And then we got attacked at the end by another 2, and they were all still alive, and we only killed 1. Now, maybe our team sucked, but you know what? I couldn't see anything. You remember, that one map where it's like red with like the salt on the top?
Yeah.
That map is bad too, because you can't
Great.
see anything. Like that, the actual bunker is fine, but the big field is freaking stupid. Imagine Geonosis is a massive field with there's some caves and there's some things. I want to be clear. There is some cover, but it's massive. It's way too big for the amount of players. It's a bad map. It's a fucking bad map. It's bad update.
Because in the actual map, like the actual world, you're supposed to have thousands
Yes.
soldiers on both sides. Or here you have like what 64 or
Like
whatever
shrink
it is.
it down. Like
Yeah.
what's going on? I was literally running for like hours, and there's some dude who's like bang up and restart. So I'm just pointing that out. But anyway, is that game dead?
I don't know. Kotaku might have better insight in that. I would say, just guessing, probably yes, is dead. Because it seemed like when they were first working on, all they developed was like art assets.
Yeah, that was weird. They showed that off like 2 years in a row at E3 or something, right?
Yeah.
You know, I will say something that the game. I mean, I'm playing on Xbox now. I have a weird problem with my auto aim though. I think I saw it on a couple maps, unless it's my controller going. But But anyway, in what's the two eras? I'm not versed in Star Wars. What era did we get first? I can't.
In which game?
In Battlefront 2.
This Battlefront 2?
Yeah. In EA Star Wars Battlefront 2.
What era did we get first?
Didn't they add the Did they add the clones, or were the clones in there?
They added they added the clones, yes.
That update, with the exception of that Geonosis map, that update is actually super fun, and the game is handling rather well. And like we had a blast, with the exception of that freaking Geonosis map. Now, admittedly, that was 3 a.m. So, but I wonder whether it's improved and whether people went back, because we actually haven't gone back. Like I wouldn't be opposed to trying it again, because it was actually pretty damn fun. We were having fun on every other map that we played, with the exception of that one. And I like the clone era is my favorite era of them all, whatever era that is, because I just like the look of the people. I don't really know what's going on for the most part. I just like the look of the armor. So I'm like, oh, I like those guys. Whatever the fuck they are, the clone troopers. I like that aesthetic better. The one from the Clone Wars movie, when they were fighting on Geonosis, that era, whatever the fuck that is. But I will say that the game seems to be cleaned up, and like I was earning credits like fucking mad. Like people are like, oh, that's like 40,000 credits. I got like 35 grand already.
Wow,
I just downloaded it last night.
That is a lot, yeah.
So I was like, all right, well, that's fine. And I only had a couple of crates. Like, they only gave me a couple thousand. Like, that wasn't all from crates.
Mm-hmm.
It was me just earning shit somehow in the games, I guess.
Well, they did, because of the controversy over the microtransactions, they did kind of rebalance how many credits you get at the end of the game. So you can rack it up and still unlock things. That game's definitely feasible just to play and unlock all the stuff you want.
I was leveling up cards, and cards were purchased with a skill point and upgraded with a skill point, and then
which is earned just through playing.
And I was getting a shit ton of credits. Like it, I mean, I don't know. So I will say that they did a good job improving on it, and maybe we should try it again. But I think it's like, especially if you're not playing it, like why aren't you playing it? Like if you're that big of a fan of Star Wars, like are you?
I really enjoyed the first one. I really liked that game.
But like, why aren't you playing this one? I guess is my question.
I could be wrong, but it just the shooting mechanics felt different to me. It just didn't feel like I was. It had the kind of that battlefield feel, where you're kind of floaty and your character kind of moves around a lot.
It's definitely Battlefield-esque for sure.
And that was my problem with it. It just didn't feel as good to me.
There was like a definite like responsiveness, I guess, of the first one. The first one felt really clean. Like it felt really polished, really clean, and like the graphics on both games are great. But the first one felt more responsive. I will give you that. I would say give it a go again.
I have a couple times.
Like recently?
Like last week.
Oh, okay. Jesus. Okay. Because I didn't really have much trouble, like I said, other than the auto game, which I believe was the auto game. I don't know what you experienced this, where it just kind of like rips you, like turns you. Like you'll be walking and it just like turns me all of a sudden to the left.
No, I've not had that.
And I was like, maybe it's my controller, but I was just using it. It was fine. And it's always like toward an enemy. So I don't know whether, I mean, I could probably turn down my auto aim, or my aim assist, whatever it is. But like with that exception, I wasn't really having any issues. So I would say maybe give it a go again. But I wonder.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to getting EA access on Xbox.
There you go.
And then downloading there if you guys are going to play ever again, you know.
Yeah. I mean,
although all my unlocks and stuff are on PlayStation.
I mean, does that matter?
Yeah.
All the characters are basically unlocked.
Well, no, because they added new characters. Like they added Grievous and Obi-Wan, which are like 30,000.
But all the other ones are unlocked for me.
Are they really?
They're all there. I have them all except for Grievous, Obi-Wan, one version of the Millennium Falcon, and a couple other things.
Jeez. All right. Well.
So all I need to do is I almost have enough for one of those new guys.
Mm-hmm.
Darth Maul is unlocked for me. All those guys.
Wow, that's weird.
Maybe that's part of EA Access. Because they're not grayed out on the character select screen. So like I assume I haven't been a Jedi or a whatever they are, Sith or whatever since like playing. I didn't get a chance to. But
all right. That's it.
I have a query corner.
All right,
if you like.
Let's hear it.
All right, live games. I have two questions based on live games. First of all, when and how? Maybe not when. How affected do you think live games are by a toxic community? And this is another Fallout 76 big thing again. And when or what does the dev have to do? Like, at what point in a general consensus does it flip such that the news drowns out? And I'll give an example. So, a lot of I call them news YouTubers, and I think a lot of other people do too. They're like the guys who just kind of talk with B-roll. They just like talk about news and stuff. And they usually have a clickbaity title, a clickbaity thumbnail, and they bitch and cry about, like, in this case, it's like Fallout 76, and there's like a bunch of like, oh, this game's awful, and like this is why, and it's a lot of rehashing, and they keep making a bunch of videos about it, and it's like the smallest piece of new information. They make a new video about it, and half the videos I'm bitching about the stuff they already bitched about. In my experience. So, in my opinion, these guys are, I don't want to say hurting sales illegitimately, because the game, like, I'm talking about Fallout 76. 76 is definitely flawed, and what they're saying is legitimate. But these guys are kind of a mirror of the community, if you will. They're not making sales slump. It's like sales slump, and the community gets mad, and then these guys react to it.
They're feeding off the.
They're feeding off the community. They're not the one driving the community. Is what I want to make clear. So when I say that, when is it that they flip, and what does the dev have to do? So there's been several times where the various news YouTubers will say something like, "This game probably isn't going to be a Rainbow Six Siege or a No Man's Sky." How? Like there's no way. And so I'm curious. Like, No Man's Sky had this big update and couple big updates and that type of thing. Rainbow Six Siege just kept at it. But at what point does the community and the news YouTubers, I guess, because they're a reflection of the community, flip their opinion and make it pass from bad to good? So in this case, in Fallout 76's case, they're saying, like, you and I have an issue where it's hard to go back because, like, what are we doing? Like, we're fucking reading notes. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Like honestly though, like there's weird problems. Like, you find cool mods, you accidentally scrap it because of the junk system. There's weird bugs. Like, it's just like, and then we're doing like the Brotherhood of Steel quests, and it's like you're doing those, but all you're doing is like reading this note to go pick up that note to push this button to kill it. Like what are we doing? Mm-hmm. Like what? Like really? Like, where is the driving force? Like, the exploration was the driving force in the very beginning. Now it's kind of like I don't really have a driving force anymore. Like, I kind of go in and I poke around here and there, kind of farm a little bit, and then I leave. I don't really do much. And so, like, at what point in general, and you could use a specific example of Fallout 76 or whatever, does the community flip? Because it seems like toxicity in terms of 76. I didn't follow the No Man's Sky toxicity too much, and I didn't follow the Rainbow Six toxicity too much. But there was mass toxicity about 76, and it's like it's seemingly out of control. And so, like, will it remain out of control, or like, at what point can the dev flip the switch? Do the toxic guys drop off? What's going on? Like, are the toxic guys shutting up because they're bored and they're going on to something else? Are they eventually just realizing, like, oh, this game's not going to get bad, we've already trashed enough, and they leave, the game improves, and then the opinion changes? What's going on? Like, when is the community flipped enough such that one of these news YouTubers will pick it up and say, Fallout 76 is improved, this is actually really good news?
I don't think they do, right?
What do you mean?
I think because their whole shtick is, I'm complaining about stuff that people don't like. And so people like to hate watch things, right?
Like they're fired up about something, so they go watch the hate video on
Just
it.
to fuel their anger.
Yeah.
Right? And so that is their business model, if you will, to continue that. I don't think they ever would, unless you're a legitimate, like, actual person who cares about journalistic ethics, let's say, right? But I think these random YouTubers that just talk about stuff, I don't think they would change their opinion.
But they did with things like
they're not going to get views on a bunch of let's celebrate Fallout 76 now.
But what I'm saying though is
all their followers are looking for the anger stuff.
But they're positively reflecting on Rainbow Six Siege and No Man's Sky, which I'm sure if these guys were around back then, they'd be a part of that toxicity where they're complaining about the videos not being, or they're complaining about the game not being as good as they'd like, right? And admittedly, I didn't go back and like check their old videos, but they've made mention several times that those games improving. So like, if let's just hypothetically say and there's so many, like I'm not pointing out a certain one. There's so many out there. If they are, which I believe they are, just a pure reflection of the community. If the community's toxic, they're going to be toxic. If the community's fine, they're going to be fine. Whether they make 1 or 10 videos on something is whatever. That's just depending on demand. But when will we get one or more video from one of these guys that say Fallout 76 is finally flipped? Like it's now part of the Rainbow Six Siege / No Man's Sky thing.
Well, I don't know, but wouldn't you say that the coverage of No Man's Sky has flipped in terms of legitimate like press, but not I don't watch.
What do you mean? What do you mean by it's flipped?
So when the game came out, yeah, it was criticized for being.
It was fucking torn apart though, like hard.
And I mean, maybe it didn't deserve that much backlash, but it did deserve some criticism because it was not what was promised,
right?
And it was not as big of a game as everyone thought it was going to be. But is now added. He's been updating it consistently, him and his team, right? They've added massive updates. They fixed the multiplayer. They added quests. They did all these sorts of things, and now people are actually like, anytime I see coverage of it, it's genuinely positive.
Yeah,
but I don't watch these YouTube news guys.
Like, yeah, it's a good thing because like it's a good point because I'm not subscribed. I don't think to any of them.
They pop up though. If you search anything Fallout, one of those guys is going to pop up in my algorithm.
Feed.
Yeah.
And now that I've watched a couple, like they're all over the place.
Yeah.
And they're all negative. Maybe it's because of the algorithm saw me watch something negative. So
I think that's the case. Yeah.
But the thing is like I said, like legitimately, they have made mention of these games that have flipped. Like what's weird, I guess, to me in this particular case, in the Fallout 76 case, is that they're saying there's no way that they can improve it. There's no way the base systems are ruined. Like, there's no way they can fix this. But like, wouldn't you say that back in the days of No Man's Sky, there'd be no way to fix it? Like back in those days, it'd be like, how do we fix this? But you can't just make a new game, make a No Man's Sky 2.
I don't know if anyone was saying that though.
I don't think that people were.
I think the difference with
like those were the first two games that kind of flipped of recent times.
But because there was so little actually in No Man's Sky, you could see that they could add things.
Yes.
But 76 is like their entire system, their entire main campaign quests are already written and baked in, and it's all interconnected. So how do you go back and fix that? The fundamental problem being there's no NPCs. You know, you can't just add in thousands of NPCs.
Why can't you?
I just don't see them doing that.
See,
and they'd have to rewrite the entire main quest.
No, but don't even do that. So what you do,
and they have to get new voice actors in. It's a massive thing.
But they're a big fucking company. They're big boys. They understand how to do stuff.
Yeah, but I think they're just going to try to patch it up as best they can and then try to make as much money as they can. Instead of spending millions of dollars on retrofitting Fallout 76.
But they wanted this game to keep them alive for years. Or
forever. They literally said to the end of time.
Forever, or whatever they said. But like for years, at realistically for years, right?
Until the next Fallout game.
Until the next Fallout game.
I think still hold you out for 10 years, yeah.
The thing is, though, whatever. The thing is that they can add towns. Like, you get the thing.
Yeah,
right?
They could do that. Yeah.
The mission of the dwellers of Vault 76, which we are of, are supposed to be to rebuild America. You could just, and they're supposed to be there are NPC Vault 76 dwellers out there. Like, they're dead, but there are NPC ones. Like, they're like I said, they're dead, but. So in other words, it's supposed to be yes, there's player ones, but yes, there's supposed to be it's en masse, right? Like, it's quite a large group of people out there to rebuild. They could simply put a thing out where they say oh, we've rebuilt this town. go into this town and there's freaking people in there. They can do that. This is the Fallout universe. They have memory loungers and VR headsets, and hell, they could make you wake up from a VR headset and you could go into a whole new world when you go into like some sort of thing. Like it could literally be a point in the map. They add a vault. The vault has like those sleeper things that are in Fallout 3. You go inside and it's a VR, and the VR is literally a better game. Like honestly, that sounds fucking ridiculous, but there is a lore friendly path to it. Like Vault-Tec could have been like, this is how we think the wasteland of the Appalachia or whatever is going to be, and we think it's going to be towns and stuff. And so you go into this VR, which is like a Vault-Tec sanctioned VR, and you go in and there's NPCs. They could do that.
Yeah.
And they could just add a shortcut on the frickin' main menu to go in there. Like I don't think, like I think these guys are speaking too negatively. Like they're looking at it as like, no, like they need to have no NPCs. It's like, yes, that was a major design decision. Yes, they seem to be sticking to it, but they can leave it behind and still be lore friendly.
I think, yeah, you're right. I think they could make new quest lines, but I think the ones they got finished, why mess with those? Why not just leave them?
No, but that's exactly what I'm saying is think about the quests we got right now. The quests we got right now are not the greatest, right? They're not the greatest, but they're part of the base game. Realistically, those quests have you running around everywhere. I don't think that the game is going to have like those quests will almost be considered side quests if they added a town. Like if they take over, what's that first town where the first responders are? That first town you kind of run into, Flatwoods. Mm-hmm. If they take Flatwoods and they say, okay, Flatwoods has like whatever, like has this functionality. We're gonna make it such that, and this is a spoiler for the main story. Everybody, this is a spoil. I'm about to spoil something. The reason why everyone is dead in this game is because there's like the virus, the Scourge virus. Easy enough. All you do is have people fucking migrate in from outside the area and just rebuild freaking Flatwoods in an update, and you have freaking NPCs. You still have all the same quests. You still have all that, and all you have is the main quests, and the quests we have today are literally just quests that bring you around the world, and all they have to do is like if like an NPC gives you a legitimate quest, make that quest intersect with a bunch of the other quests from the base game, so you're getting like triple the reward because you're already going in that direction.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing?
The game's definitely going to change. It's going to be completely different in a couple of years. But here's what's kind of weird is that they're planning this game to last, let's say, 10 years to the next Fallout game, right? How are they going to handle the console jump?
I don't think they are.
So just all console players are now no longer playing Fallout 76?
I'm sure they could do probably an export and you have to rebuy the game. I wouldn't be surprised if you had to rebuy the game.
Yeah, I imagine that.
And then you could probably export your file to BethesdaNet. You probably could. Probably like a one-time export import probably. I would assume because everything seems to be so modular with the inventories.
This is what's fascinating with this next-gen console coming up in a couple of years is that a lot of all these live games that are coming out, The Division, we could be playing for the next couple of years, right? What's going to happen? Is the save going to work? So these are saved on the server side, right?
Yeah. But do you care about your Division 1 save?
Not Division 1.
But
Division 2,
but even still, that's still valid. That's still a valid thing.
You're right, but I think most people are done playing that game. But Division 2 comes out. Let's say a console comes out next year in 2020.
Yes, yeah.
Can I rebuy Division 2 on PS5 and just log in with my credentials and then have my save there? Because if all these games are becoming live, they're going to have to handle that in some capacity.
I don't think it's going to be as difficult as we think because
difficult.
GTA 5 did it. And
right.
Because all you have to really do is, like, it's their server.
Yeah.
So all they have to do is say, okay, like, in the back end, it's essentially creating a quote-unquote new game, and then it's just setting the status to the same as what yours is, right?
Yeah.
So as long as they have that information, don't lose it. Like, especially Bethesda, like, they can just say, like, okay, player dot add item this item and level and perks and, hey, look, we merged your save, you know?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
The thing is like, first of all, we shouldn't have to rebuy them, which is fucking ridiculous, I think, in my opinion. Like, I mean, the 360 to the PS4 age, I mean, but still.
I mean, I'm hoping that you'll be able to do it, but it's unlikely.
It's probably unlikely because they probably want you to just buy it again.
Yeah, unless they do you can play you can play Red Dead on your PS4. You know, you can play Red Dead on your PS5, but if you want to play the enhanced version of Red Dead made for PS5, you had to buy it. You know what I mean?
I'm fine with that.
I don't think they'll do that either, but that'd be nice.
I'm fine with that for sure. All right. So the base question again: where can these games flip then? Would they need to?
I don't think they
would
care
they need
about
the
those.
console jump and like need to leverage the new technology to make some crazy update to Fallout
No,
76?
I don't think so. But I don't think they care about the opinions of these news YouTubers.
No. The only reason why I brought up the news YouTubers is the new. I'm not blaming the news YouTubers for anything. To be clear, what I'm doing is I'm saying that the community gets toxic because of Fallout 76 in its current state. The news YouTubers, that like the toxicity of the community creates a demand for those type of videos. The news YouTubers report on what is in demand. Eventually, the community, assuming the game improves enough, will flip. And as a result, the news YouTubers will either stop reporting on it or will have a good video or two regarding how much the game has improved. I'm saying that the news YouTubers are a direct reflection of the community. For Fallout, let's just use Fallout 76. Like, what is the flip point? Like, do games need to completely change? Like, as a general question, do games need to completely change? Like No Man's Sky. Do you think that the devs have to be more open? Like the inside the vault and the patch notes with the new dev notes and those type of things, like those are being more transparent. Like, does that start to flip the community? Even if the game is in a bad state? Like, do games need to completely change their state? Like what in general? And then you can also, as an example, you can also use 76. What flips the state?
I don't know.
Because there's something that, like, right now the toxicity is out of control.
Is it still going?
I would say.
I feel like they've died off and moved on to other games.
Maybe it's died off now, but it was out of control. So is that the flip? Is the toxicity just die, and why?
Yeah,
like,
I think they just have to get over it because people can't be angry forever. They have to move on to something else, right?
The thing is, I think it's still pretty toxic. Like, go look at a Bethesda like comment section on like Instagram. And it's like that's still the community, like even though that's social media shit.
But that's gonna be the same thing for almost everything. I posted a picture of a magazine I bought with Jane Fonda on the cover.
Right.
All right. And some guy commented on it like, oh, you can like use that Life magazine with Jane Fonda as like toilet paper or something like that. Right. Now she did something in the 60s I think it was the late 60s. That got a bunch of people angry at her, right?
Okay.
It's been 50 years since then, and people are still angry and commenting on my Instagram picture about it.
But like, you can't update a person like you did. You update a piece of software.
No, but I'm just saying, there's going to be people angry forever and commenting on things if they don't like it. This is like no.
So you're saying there's no I kind of figured there was like a virtually a one size fits all, where it was like community has to die down. And a big change has to happen, or a big update, or the dev has to change mentality. Even if the game's in a bad state, it will start to flip. But you're kind of saying that it's definitely like a per game thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, the patches are going to be different, but I mean, like, in terms of the procedure you take.
Well, I'm curious if you go look at No Man's Sky posts. What's the comments like on there now? You know, that'll be interesting to see.
That's a good question because I haven't checked. Yeah, that's a good question actually.
Yeah.
What is your flipping point for 76? What's your problems and what's your flipping point right now?
Well, my problem is just the game doesn't feel like there's an urgency to it.
Yeah.
It's lifeless. You know, like, you ever look at like a picture of like a landscape, and it can be like a beautiful landscape, but it just feels like there's something missing about it. You get this kind of weird, almost like melancholy feeling about it. Like
the area is cool, but like what's going on there?
If you just see like a picture of a road that just like goes off into the horizon,
it's almost like it's
just something that
feels weird.
Yeah, you just feel alone, and I think that's one of my big problems with the game. Even though it's multiplayer and we're playing and chatting, it's just like the world just doesn't feel like it's happening. Like it's like alive. It just feels empty and static.
Do you know? I think that the issue with why I think it feels like that is because we don't have any connection to the world.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember anything specific I really don't. With the exception of us exploring the right side coast beside Charleston, I think. Remember we like went down that big coast and we found all that shit that we didn't even realize we missed?
Yeah.
With the exception of that moment, I really don't remember any specific instance in that game that I've played multiplayer. I remember 2 or 3 good quests that I actually did like in the game, and those I did single player. I really don't remember much else. I remember firing up the excavator a few times, and that was really cool, especially the first time. That was really cool. But, like, we don't have a connection to the landscape. Like, now that we're in the Savage Divide, the Mire, and the Cranberry Bog, that place is so fucking lifeless. Like, it's so dangerous, too. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, I'm trying to get the hell out of there. Like, every time I go in there, it's like, fuck, I gotta go over there for a quest. You get in there, and then get the hell out of there, because it's dangerous as hell in there.
That's another problem I have, too, is, like, other Fallout games, it's like, you'd run into difficult enemies if you come across a Deathclaw. And it's like, okay, I'm going to die. I clearly can't fight this thing. But other times, it's just like, it's just a matter of my shooting skill that keeps me alive.
Yeah.
I can get swarmed by ghouls, but it's just a matter of how well I can kill them, you know? But here, it's like, you just get swarmed by a bunch of ghouls, and they kill you.
Or you're loading in, and they haven't like appeared, like they're invisible and they kill you.
And they pop out of nowhere. Okay, they'll just really spawn them behind you. You'll be looking one way, turn around, and you'll get hit in the back.
Yep.
And there's a ghoul there.
Yep.
And it's just like the simplest enemies are killing me, you know. And it's just frustrating. Like most Fallout games, it's like sometimes they go into a struggling area, right? But you can overcome it. But I feel like I'm not progressing anything. I'm leveling up. I'm getting my perks. I'm getting better like equipment and stuff. But I'm still dying all the time.
I would agree with you because like I've found 1 3-star legendary and it was level 25. So it's like that's technically in the grand scheme useless. And it's one of those things where it's like technically I guess at this point in the game I'm level 69, I'm close to level 70, so I should be really like farming legendaries, I guess. And I don't feel like I'm progressing when I level up. Like I can respec, but it's still the same pool of points. Mm-hmm. I don't really feel like I'm leveling up much. I still have like not even a full set of T60. I don't have any X01 armor. I don't know any of the secrets. Now, admittedly, like I'm not seeking out the secrets. Like I kind of want to find them, and we haven't beaten the main game, so maybe I've been like literally just exploring too much. Like maybe it's a bit on my part, but the quests are boring. Mm-hmm. It's like why? It's like we'll complete the quest and then you'll like, you'll find more stuff, and that's probably true. Actually, to be honest, like I'll probably find more stuff, but like the quests are fucking boring. Like go here, press X, find this holotape and listen to it. And you can't listen to a 3-minute holotape, even if it's a 1-minute holotape, when there's 3 of us in a party.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. And then we have other people in the party that aren't even playing with us. So talking to us about just general things.
Yeah.
And it's like, fuck, like I can't, and I'm not trying to like tell everyone to shut up. Like that's so stupid. Like it's a stupid design thing. I can't read this thing because I can't hear, respond, and read at the same time. And I also can't hear 2 people talking at once.
Yeah. It's also hard to tell if a quest is broken or if I'm not doing it correctly. There's one where you got to kill unruly golfers, and I go there and I search forever. I look all over the goddamn place. I fight off all sorts of ghouls, all different kinds of ghouls. I kill the entire ghoul population in the area. Nothing done on my quest.
I can help you with that.
And then another one is you have that sword. You know, that one mission where you're like, you got the dress on and like a mask and whatever.
Mistress of Mysteries.
Yeah, and you have the sword you have to go get, and it's like kill like 5 beasts with this sword. And I've killed all sorts of different beasts, nothing. So I don't know if the quest is broken or I'm doing it wrong.
I can't. I for some reason I vaguely remember they were specific creature.
It'd be nice if it told you that.
This creature, I think.
And it's like a level 1 weapon, and so like I'm trying to fight off things, and then ghoul shows up and kills me.
You can upgrade it.
Can you really?
Yeah, you use it as a crafting material. So you go like I want the blade of Bastet, I think it is. So I want the blade of Bastet, and let's say it's level 1, like you said, right? I want it at level 35 or whatever. So you go into your crafting menu, you select blade of Bastet, and as long as it's in your inventory, it acts as a crafting material.
Okay.
And so you destroy the original essentially, and you upgrade it to 35.
So and I'm always running out of ammo constantly.
I'm starting now. Ever since they dropped they lowered the drop rate of friggin' hunting rifle ammo. I have a problem in that game with I have a bunch of guns and like I'm carrying a bunch of crap and like maybe I shouldn't be. Like Tim was saying, he only carries 3 guns, and I have a problem in that game where I don't know what gun to use. None of my guns seem to do much, and my max level is 50, and there's level 68s running around. So like, what the hell's going on?
That's another problem. Is like this is Fallout fans are going to be playing this game. You can tell me it's a survival game. You can tell me you only had to carry 3 weapons. You can tell me you had to have less supplies on you because it's a survival game. You can tell me all that. But I'm a Fallout fan. I was going into this game expecting a Fallout game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, I mean, the food and the drink is kind of okay.
That's fine. I'm better now after getting perks and reducing how much I need to use it and actually getting a system set up where I can have constant food and water. That's stabilized now.
Yeah.
But just the idea of only having to carry 3 guns, to play this game. When in the other Fallout games I'd be like loaded up and just like going out on like a couple hour-long missions where I would just be looting stuff. It's not the way I wanted to play Fallout. And so the game is fundamentally different to me.
It's interesting. I argued against you because you always used to say that, and I was like, this isn't that type of game. But I kind of feel like I'm down with sacrifices and changes from a standard Fallout title, something like the pausing in VATS. I think the way they implemented VATS is fine.
I'm fine with it too. Yeah.
We can have a big old fight about that. I'll have a big old fight about that with you. That's fine. But like in my opinion, the actual real time implementation is perfectly fine. I have no issue with it. It looks a little weird, but like that's the way it is. Like that's the best way to do it in my opinion. The thing is I'm kind of on your side now with some things. Like, why is the weight so limited? Like, limit my weight, fine, but not so limited. In Fallout 4, I was carrying guns left, right, and center. I had guns all over the place. Friggin', I was stacked.
Yeah.
You can't be stacked anymore.
And it forces you to put all your perks into strength just so you can carry some stuff.
Yeah, so I'm always at 15 strength, and then I only have I have limits on the other ones because I've had to put so much into strength. And like Tim was saying to me that like he hardly has anything in his stash and all this stuff, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Just delete everything? So should I literally do like a character wipe? Like keep my character and my perks, delete all my shit and just restart? Like what am I supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this is there's sacrifices that didn't need to be made for the type of game there is. Like yes, like there needs to be a better food system and that type of thing to eat and drink. Fine. The camp system needs to be limited because it's live. Fine, fair enough. Because they're not static things. NPCs and that's dumb, but whatever. But the thing is like why are there? This is probably what the flipping point is. Why are there sacrifices made in areas where it doesn't need to be? Like, okay, you know what, humans? Fine. Where are the robots? Where are the freaking robots? Look at all the ones in the Greenbrier. What's the real name? What's the game name?
I forget the name. I haven't played it in so long. So.
But you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The Greenbrier, like the
big building with all the robots.
White Springs.
White Springs, yeah.
Where like there's robots everywhere in there, and stop putting protectrons where they need to speak. Protectrons don't have a good speech module lore-wise. Put a damn Mr. Handy or Mrs. Nanny there. Like Rose speaks right. Mm-hmm. She speaks correctly. She speaks speaks right. I don't think that was, but she speaks correctly. She speaks like a normal human. She has a character of her own. If you have robots running the show, you could have run rampant with that. You could have done something ridiculous where it's like automation has taken over, like actually taken over. You could have cities of robots.
You could even have
like
a robot plant they got up and running.
Yeah,
and pumping out new robots for the world.
And it's just like there's hilarity where they're like, we don't know where the humans are, so we're just repopulating the world.
Yeah,
like they're just dumb robots, like just stupid stuff. You could have did that, and it would have been like, this game is hilarious. There's robots everywhere. Yeah. But no, you got friggin' Mr. Farm hands that shoot at you for no reason.
To their credit, to Bethesda's credit, they are updating the game consistently, and the updates are adding a bunch of new things and changing a lot of new things.
The inside the vault is good too, and so are the patch notes and the dev notes.
They just need to fix my skin textures, and I'll be happy.
You and that damn belly button.
I purchased that skin. I purchased it, Matt.
Which skin is this, to be clear to everyone?
The Rocket Girl one.
From the Atomic Shop.
The Nuka-Cola Rocket Girl.
Yeah.
I purchased it, and you know what? It was sold to me as a clear skin texture. I had a clear skin texture. They released an update. I think it was like either the second or third update. Been blurry stomach ever since.
I bet you that was to increase performance.
I hope not. I hope their engine can handle a freaking belly button, Matt. I think it's even flat. I think it's a flat texture. It's not even like raised or anything.
Probably is, yeah. But it's a bit higher definition. The thing is like people keep saying.
I think it's on my back. There's some like stretched out mark on my back.
Oh, really?
And I think like the whole thing got stretched around and like it's all like a dark area in my back now where I think the belly button is. Yeah.
the thing that's gross, Ryan. The thing is, is that I feel like if this was a single player game, nobody would be mentioning the engine. I don't remember this much engine talk in Fallout 4.
Oh, there was, yeah, for sure.
There was this much engine talk?
There's engine talk every...
No, there's engine talk, not this much.
This one was particularly bad, though, you have to admit.
I can't admit because I don't know whether it's the server or the engine.
But the lighting that's just coming through like mountains?
I don't know. I don't know if that's engine or not. From a technical standpoint, I don't know if that's engine or not. That could have been someone accidentally placing God rays there.
Well, then that's still bad, regardless.
Like that's a mistake, but I don't know on what fault. Like I'm not experienced.
But if their engine could dynamically handle a light source,
handle the sun, yeah,
yeah, instead of having to manually place light rays, like
what's actually hilarious is the original Mercenaries. I took a picture. They redid the sun, and the sun is in high definition. I looked right at it, and it has like a proper glare and everything. And I was like, "What the fuck? Like this is the best looking part of this whole game is this glaring sun."
What's funny too is like the whole like next gen like lighting really improved, like of this current gen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So like the consoles are capable of handling good lighting systems.
Yeah, yeah.
But Bethesda, they're hell bent on that damn creation engine.
Well, the thing is too, it really sucks. Is the Boston in Fallout 4 on PS4. It frickin' lags, man. There's areas that frickin' thing lags, and it lags bad. It frickin' chugs along like 10 FPS maybe. Mm. And the thing with Bethesda games is it's just like a muscle memory. It's like, well, it's busy in this area clearly, and it's like, no, that shouldn't be an excuse. Actually, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Frick. Come on, Bethesda.
And what's weird too is like Bethesda has other engines, obviously, right? They're not using Creation Engine for Wolfenstein, right?
No, I don't think so. No.
Or what else they got?
I think it's only for their RPGs.
Or Dishonored.
No, I think it's
or Doom.
Definitely not. No, it wouldn't run that well in Doom. Doom runs fucking super well.
Use that engine.
It's definitely because it's a good world building tool.
All right, that's all the time we got.
Add NPCs, and then I'll play your game.
Well, we'll see. We'll do a recap of where they are in a year.
I'll leave you with a quote. I'm not usually a casual Fallout player, and you've made me one because I just don't care. The game is boring, and it's not good. That's not good.
Yeah. See ya.
Peace.